nation of France, their curfews and restrictions are not stringently held in Paris. No, Paris remains louche. There's a private annual gathering taking place behind an unmarked door on the Saint-Germain-du-Pré in the 6th arrondissement, in a warmly lit room that appears to be a private bar in combination with a grand historic library. Here are some men talking. It is an unfortunate but inevitable repercussion of not allowing women into the club. Surely we could let one in every now and again, Sigmund, just to do the dusting. They quite literally would not make it through the door, Charles. It's just how it is. Perhaps we could employ a eunuch. It might work if they wore the appropriate attire. It really is very dirty in here. My asthma is peaked. Bring it up at the next general meeting, Friedrich. Now is not the time. Ding dong. Who's there? A man is at the door. After correctly reciting the Latin password, he's ushered inside. Good evening. And you are?
Herr Freud, good evening. My name is Francis Bacon. I do believe it was Mr. Picasso invited me here tonight.
Bacon? Bacon, ah yes, Mr. Bacon, no. It was in fact Mr. Nietzsche who took a particular interest in your work. You arrived just in time. We were about to begin. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for coming. We do hope you find this evening useful. Allow me please to talk a short while so that the uninitiated might be enlightened as to who we are and why you are here. I am Sigmund Freud, father of psychoanalysis. I am known in particular due to my work on the Oedipus complex, which is extremely complex. I truncate it here begrudgingly, but brevity has its own reward. The Oedipus complex, here you go. You all want to fuck your mother. This is my grand contribution to human knowledge. And the apotheosis of much of my studies. Charles. Good evening, hello, I'm Dr. Charles Darwin. You might know me from my publication, The Origin of Species, which is all that stuff about turtles and so on. Boring with it all now, you might also know my studies into natural selection, which is earlobes and moles and what have you. But I'm here to postulate, and quite rightly, if I may say so, that our ancestors were all apes. Monkeys, you see. Every last one of us. Friedrich. Good evening, hello, I'm Friedrich Wilhelm Nietzsche. Please forgive me, my English is not as good as Herr Freud. I am a German philosopher. In English, most notably, my publication on the genealogy of morality. This is the one where everyone starts to say I'm an anti-Semite. For the 100th millionth time, I don't hate the Jews, okay? But you believe what you like. I'm here to reiterate my foremost theory. God is dead, yeah? Yeah, very plain. Where is Pablo? Pablo! Picasso, come here. Come say hello to the young blood. I am not here. I am the great man. I am Picasso. I'm going to be debating all the time. Okay. I believe you. Tell them who you are, Pablo. This guy, he's so depressed. I have to tell you who I am? I don't have to tell you who I am. I am Picasso. I paint Guernica. I paint ladies with their eyes all in the wrong place. I paint guitars, holes over here, strings over there. I paint the truth. If you don't know who is Picasso, you don't know what is painting. Ciao, bye-bye. Yes, thank you very much, my lord. Thank you once again for being in attendance. I must reiterate to you that although you are all invited here tonight, it is not all of you who shall be invited to stay. Not all of you shall become, how you say, a member. of our club. But we will have it all arranged by the end of the evening. Until then, please help yourselves at the bar. We don't have a waitress. We are trying to fix that. And we will call you in a short while. Bacon. You're a painter, no?
Yes, that's right.
I wonder if you've met my grandson. He's like you, also a painter. He's around here somewhere. Lucien? Lucien, komm einmal her und du zumindest seid interessiert an diesem Kerl.
Herr Freud, ich muss Ihnen sagen, dass mein Deutschkurs recht gut ist. Having spent, or shall I say, misspent some of my youth in Berlin some years ago.
Yes, Mr. Bacon, I meant no insult. It is my grandson, in fact, you see, he does not socialize easily, you know. Finds it to be a kind of friction.
If there is friction, then we must lubricate him, Herr Freud. Don't worry, I will take excellent care of him. Good evening, Lucien. My name is Francis, and tonight I'll be playing the role of your benevolent uncle.
Ah, Mr. Bacon. Yes, how do you do? I know of your work. It's very good. Good evening, Grandpapa.
Good evening, Lucien.
Grandfather and an uncle. I'll not want for maternal ministrations tonight.
I suspect that ancestry is very useful on an evening such as this, Lucien. But don't fret, my ministrations are usually most welcome. Herr Freud, your grandson is utterly charming. You may leave us now safe in the knowledge that we like each other.
Very good. I'll call you in shortly, Lucien. Herr Bacon.
You have a terrifying grandfather and a marvelous jumper. You paint?
Yes, I do.
In Paris?
No, I am in London.
Ah, me too. Then we are perfectly matched rivals then. What do you paint?
People, animals, plants. I am figurative, despite the current lurid fascination with abstraction.
Oh, how wayward of you. Me too. Have you had a chance to speak to Mr. Picasso tonight?
No, I met him once, some years ago. I'm hoping to visit his studio while I'm in Paris. He is very wonderful.
Isn't he? Yes. I was hoping to bend his ear, but I see that it's disappeared.
At this moment, a gong rings. All heads turn towards a door at the far end of the room. Sigmund Freud is standing flanked by Darwin and Nietzsche. In his hands, he holds a large silver goblet.
Gentlemen, we are ready to receive you now. If you will be so kind as to follow me through this small door, we shall begin.
Goody, let's head inside.
Here, shall we take a bottle of champagne in with us?
That's a marvelous idea. Off him.
No.
Francis and Lucien head through the doors into another room, lit only by candles. But you aren't going to see what happens in here. Rather, we go to a flashback.
Before my family fled Germany for London, as a little boy I lived sumptuously in the centre of Berlin with my mother, my father, and my two brothers. One winter's morning, my mother took us skating on a frozen lake in Tiergarten. When my mother and brothers weren't looking, I skated to the middle of the lake, where the ice was thin. I knew this was dangerous. It was the water. I looked back at my family to make sure they hadn't seen me. The ice began to crack. One skate went through the ice, and then the other, and I was swallowed into the water. My skates and rapidly waterlogged clothes sucked me down. I'm going to die now, I thought. Then a hand gripped the back of my neck. My mother had seen me drop down and hurried to wrench me out of the water. My precious boy, you could have died. Why did you skate here? Mother, I wanted to die. Why did you save me? She folded me in her arms, welcoming me, crying with relief. Though she loved my brothers very much, the minute I was born, she'd known I was her favourite. She named me after herself, Lucien. On the frozen lake in my mother's arms, age 7, I felt nothing at all really, except I was getting cold.
It's the morning after we left Francis Bacon and Lucien Freud at the club. Bacon and his childhood nanny, known only as Nanny, are wandering around the gallery Louis Leris together. Bacon has not slept but appears to be wide awake and elated. Whose work is showing at the gallery Louis Leris?
Eggsy? I don't understand these paintings at all. What's going on here? Is it a landscape?
It's a portrait. A woman.
A woman? Oh yeah, I can see her rear end. He's painted her hair like a bunch of bananas. Now granted, the colours are charming. What's this one? Dora Maar and cat. Where's the cat? Well, it could be anywhere. Poor Dora Maar looks like she's been in a bar fight.
Nanny, she looks just like you. You both look as magnificent as each other.
Really, Eggsy? Oh no. Do you really think these are beautiful?
Don't you?
No. What I think's beautiful is a man with a big moustache who will sit down in front of one of those military paintings, you know, the one with brass buttons. They have those sort of paintings over here. Eggsy, I want to sit down. I'm tired. Eggsy. What's wrong with you, child? What happened to you last night?
Nanny, last night I had an experience. Do you love me? Unconditionally. If I tell you what happened to me last night, you have to promise me not to tell a word, and that you'll still be able to love me.
What a ridiculous thing to say. You're my precious piglet. Come here. Tell me what happened.
Francis leans over, whispers in his nanny's ear, but we're not going to show you what he says, not just now. Now we go to another fashion.
This would be County Kildare, I suppose, in 1920. As a child, I had my usual passions. My father would respond to me with immediate violence, though he was too cowardly to commit the violence himself. He'd send me to a stable boys to dole out his ministrations. "You're a wicked little boy, Francis," he'd say to me every time I did what I did, and every time the punishment would be the same. It's a most distressing thing to talk about, but it must be said that all those years in that enormous house, with my monstrous father, the horse trainer, and the beatings, crystallized my existence in some way. That's what happened to me last night, Nanny, at the club. Do you still love me? Will you say yes?
Of course I still love you. Of course. Yes.
Oh, Nanny! Really?
Yes.
Yes? Oh, I'm so happy, Nanny. We're going to be all right. We're going to be more than all right.
In 1946, Bacon sold his painting, titled Painting 1946, to the Museum of Modern Art. At the door of his squalid London studio 5 years after the meeting of the Gentlemen's Club in Paris, Francis is shaking hands with Valerie, a gallerist. Valerie from the gallery.
A transatlantic daytime flight is a most vicious punishment, Valerie. You can't wave money in my face and then trick me.
Yes. Well, Francis, I'm not insisting, but soon you are going to be very, very famous. And then I will have to insist. It's funny, most artists would like to go to MoMA, see their work installed in New York, Francis, but I'm not insisting.
Besides, the Americans are truly disgusting. They don't like art.
You don't like the Americans and you don't like the English.
Oh, The British are
Well,
worse.
who do you like, Francis?
The French.
Rotten manners, they match your rotten paintings. I mean that, of course, in the best possible way. Your work is hitting a nerve, Francis. Well done. Go. Celebrate, drink, paint drunk, I don't care.
I am your favorite artist. The bestseller at your gallery.
You are my favorite artist. The bestseller at my gallery.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Nanny! It is done, Nanny! We are now very rich!
Oh, a glass of champagne for Mr. Bacon. You must be so thirsty from your success.
Indeed. Thank you. Moma. Can you believe it?
No.
I would have liked to be there, of course, but I can't.
No.
Not as I am now.
Now that you're
Now that I'm a... No. I think we need to go play the tables tonight, don't you think, Nanny? A bit of an evening, and I think we need to go somewhere very special. A bit of a treat for our success.
Where would the gentleman Francis like to go this evening?
I was thinking... Monte Carlo.
Really? Really? You know, I've always wanted to go.
Nanny, I think it would be ungodly if we did.
Monte Carlo?
Monte Carlo! That's okay. Yes. The red one, yes, I love the red one. Calm down now. Calm down, just okay, just okay, Right, let's go for a drive now. Sure. Yes, I'll let you drive. Don't go too fast, though.
Lucien is in London. Though he exhibited at the very same gallery as Francis, he's not sold the painting to Mona. He's not sold the painting to anyone. Like Francis, he's got a penchant for gambling. But unlike Francis, he's not in Europe enjoying her most expensive tables. Lucien is in his studio, in debt, alone, dejected.
Why were you taking so long?
I've spent 6 months on this portrait of a dead head. What is it about him? What is he doing?
Competition is an interaction between organisms in which the fitness of one is lowered by the presence of another. This can occur due to a limited resource, such as food or territory. A species less suited must adapt or die out. But there is room to roam, and organisms are encouraged to find a unique resource upon which they may feed wholeheartedly. There's something beginning to stir in Lucien Freud, and though the streets of London are dangerous for him because there are gangsters to whom he owes a significant amount of money, his desire for sex is eclipsing his desire not to have his legs broken.
Check again.
Not a single fragment.
Oh dear, man.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Oh, it was fun while it lasted, yeah. Now the police are after us.
Now the police are after us, it's true. Do you fancy that we're quite conspicuous? I don't imagine that there are too many puffs trotting around the streets of Monte Carlo with their beloved blind nannies.
Yes, it probably had to
Pass me the champagne.
It's finished. Should probably get on a train before too long, Exie.
No, I don't want to go back to London. I'm still in the mood for a nice time, aren't you?
Yeah.
Valerie. She'd send me some money. If I had an important enough reason to stay in Europe, somewhere special to be, surely.
Binky Beaumont to host decadent ball. Binky Beaumont, eminence gris of British theatre and general manner at town, is to host a ball in Paris's lavish Louvre. Europe's richest royalty will rub shoulders with art's most important ambassadors and...
I'm an important artist ambassador. Oh, we must have just missed our invitations at the hotel. We could go back and get them from the front
We're
desk.
not allowed back in.
Pity. For sure, Nanny, they'll just have to welcome us into this party with open arms. I mean, I am a decorated member of the club. Isn't that what it's all about? Do you think you can maneuver us into a first-class cabin to Paris?
Exie, with my eyes shut.
Queen of us pass, très bien, Nanny, to Paris. Just take the money, you. Valerie's practically turned the taps on. It's practically pouring out of my sleeves.
Thank you. I'll pay you back as soon as I can, Francis.
Oh, don't mention it, Lou. You will start to sell, Lou. You have to. Those are the rules. Are they not? Just look at all this flesh, Lou. Gobbets of flesh just begging for us. Do you even know what to do with a live body, Lou? For God's sake, unbutton yourself, man.
Refill, Francis?
Yes, let's mingle. I'm in the mood to demolish someone.
Hello, Scallywag!
Oh, Nanny, and where have you been?
Me? Oh, I was dancing with that man over there, the one in the stripy shirt.
Francis, that's Pablo Picasso.
Really? The painter? The great man?
That's him.
Oh, do you know, Exie mumbles his name in his sleep. He mumbles all sorts of ridiculous things in his sleep. It's very dear. Pablo, Pablo, come here!
I'm going to the bar.
Come!
Rein in your phone, Francis. She's about to say something stupid. Go.
Now! Senorita, ready for another world? Pablo, I'd like you to meet my Francis. Pleasure to meet you, senor.
We've met before. We met at the Saint-Germain-des-Prés, at the camp.
Senor Blood and God.
Yes.
I do doing well.
Yes, I'm on the up and up.
Very good. I will visit you next time I'm in London.
Really?
No, I'm never in London. You can visit the studio in Paris. And you, madame, you are welcome anytime you like.
I suspect you're the only Jew at this party. Sorry, Jew, aren't you?
Yeah, what is it to you?
No, no, no. Only you add a welcome dash of colour, that's it.
Happy that I can amuse you. Lucian Freud.
Lady Caroline Blackwood.
Pleasure.
Pleasure.
Tell me, Miss Blackwood, how old are you exactly? Because I suspect you're far too young to have your breasts falling out of your camisole.
Do you mind?
No, I don't mind. Perhaps your mother would.
I do hope so. I'd feel very accomplished if my mother saw me with my tits falling out, talking to a Jew with holes in his jacket.
You like to annoy your mother?
I do, don't you?
I've not had the displeasure of talking to my crone, my mother, for nearly 10 years. She's a most vexing woman.
As is mine. But my income does rely on a certain amount of wages.
They keep you.
They do, until I marry, at which time I will become independently wealthy.
I must try to impregnate you as soon as possible, then.
How dare you, Mr. Freud? What a thing to say.
No! I'm not apologizing. I don't care who she is. She was screeching and she's awful.
Francis, what's going on?
Look! Do you know this man? This man just pulled Princess Margaret off the stage while she did an edition of Cold Water. No! Not a laughing matter. The princess is upstairs in tears. Who the hell are you?
I'm a Nancy boy. And you know what? It takes one to know one. Oh, darling. Oh. You're not fooling anyone. Now, fuck off.
He's one of us.
I don't give a damn who he is, Lou. Get him the hell out of my party.
I'm fine. Stop staring at me, you assholes. And who is this, Lou? Is this sex, Lou? Good sex. A warm body. I didn't think you had it in you. Good. Careful, darling. This one's a monster.
Francis, I think it's time you took yourself off the bed. Nanny, will you be all right?
Yeah, we'll be fine. Come along, Eggsy. Let's find a place to do down.
Good night. Good night, you godless few.
Lucian. That's Francis Bacon.
Yes.
Wow. It's not how I imagined him at all.
How did you imagine?
I had no idea he was so gorgeous.
Lady Caroline and Lucian Freud were married in 1953, just after Caroline turned 22. As she'd hoped, her parents were disapproving of her union with a Jewish artist. But with her dowry in effect, he was able to buy new suits without holes and a fine collection of silk cravats, which became his signature. Caroline became Lucian's favourite muse. Here he is in his London studio. Lucian is painting her in bed.
Dip your chin slightly. Yes, that's good.
Like this.
Yes. Don't fold the finger of your right hand. You spread them out but not apart. Like that, yes.
Come here.
Just.
No. Now, come here.
Fold back the blanket. Open your legs.
Go let him in! Sir Freud, I know you are there!
1 second. Mr. Picasso, please come inside.
You Englishmen, you work in such tiny studios. The light is okay. The light is good. And who is this? Hello. Hello, sir. That is very funny. Sir is my father. Me, I am Picasso.
Mr. Picasso, this is my wife, Lady Caroline Blackwood. We were busy working.
Yes, working. I can see that. It is slow work, Mr. Freud. And why do you make her look so troubled? Lady, are you troubled? I think you are tousled, but not troubled. Lucia, go and get us a bottle of wine. I want to toast the newlyweds.
I have wine in the kitchen.
No, I don't want young people pissy wine. Go and get a nice bottle of French red to toast this beautiful woman. What's yours is mine, Mr. Freud. Those are the rules, huh?
Ah. Of course. I'll be back in a moment.
That afternoon, Lucien was surprised to find Picasso gone upon his return. He asked Caroline.
What happened?
And Caroline replied,
I can never tell you.
As the story goes, Lucien never pushed further. He would say,
She said I could never tell you, so I never asked.
As the story goes, Caroline didn't wash her hands for 2 weeks, admiring her little sons until they totally chipped away.
Isn't it? Well, even if it isn't, it's 2 artists for the price of 1. You buy me, it will sell. You know, I hate every painting that I make. I just finish them and then I hate them.
And then they sell.
Yes.
At least you don't seem to suffer in the making, Francis.
That sounds like an insult, Ruth. Don't insult me. Now, have a seat. I want to take another stab at that magnificent hair of yours again. You are selling the odd one here and there, aren't you?
Yes, here and there, Francis. But still very much suffering.
Then you need to stop gambling so much. Did you see Pablo while you were in Paris?
No. Though he came to visit me at my studio not so long ago. He liked Caroline very much.
Nice. Miss Lucy, and you're bothering me. You're fidgeting way too much, and you're talking too much too. I'll finish painting you from a photograph later. That's easier. Yes, I'm tired.
I'll just make myself up later.
Yes, thank you, bye. And take some money for goodness sake, Lou. Don't be such a fool. There's some money there in the drawer if you like. You can always have what you need, you know.
Thank you, Francis.
Yes.
It won't be like this forever.
Yes, let's have lunch soon.
Yes, I'll ring you.
Yes, bye-bye.
Mr. Lucian's in good spirits.
Yes, it's revolting, isn't it? I still sell better than him, you know, man. He's not selling well at all.
Your muse is coming, Eggsy. All in good time.
I hope so, Daddy. I'm so famous now. God. And so sad. What would I do without you?
Without me, Eggsy, you're never going to have to find out.
Lady Caroline and Francis Bacon are having lunch together at Bacon's favourite table at Wheeler's, his favourite restaurant. This meal is something of a celebration. Caroline has just bought Bacon's painting, officially titled Two Figures, though everyone who knows Francis knows the painting as The Buggers. It's of two men cavorting on a bed.
To my youngest and prettiest patron. Well done, Caroline. This is one of my few paintings that I don't detest. I'm delighted it's yours.
That's wonderful, truly, Francis. It's so fancy. I don't know why you do it. When Lucian paints me, he just has me sitting there for hours and hours.
What? That's his medieval insistence to pay for real life. It's torture, Caroline, for you and for him. Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now, darling, you must try some of this caviar.
Oh, very good. And for you?
Oh, just bubbles for me, thank you.
Very well.
Now, I must ask. I'm told you met the great man. Lou tells me that he came by the studio not so long ago.
Yes, Mr. Picasso. What a revolting creature. I'm sorry, Francis, I don't care who he is or how famous he is, he's revolting. His tongue is like an aubergine.
What was his tongue doing in Lou's studio?
I can't talk about it. I can't even think about it. Look, I get goosebumps. Horrible. Yuck.
Caroline, look at you. You're as thin as a rake. When did you get so thin?
Am I? I hadn't noticed.
Caroline, you look awful, actually. I'm sorry to say. Caroline, is Lou enjoying your dowry? He must be.
What's that? Yes, he is, as a matter of fact. He just sort of gambles it all, doesn't he? We hide from these hideous men who come looking for him, so all we do is hide and paint. And the only time that he fucks me is when he's painted me half to death.
Ebb and flow, dear. Ebb and flow.
Francis is up late one night, drunk, painting. As he stands back to admire a red smear, there's a terrifying crash. A man falls through the skylight. Him and Francis stand staring at each other. He's a tall man, well built.
Can I help you?
Shut up, Puff. Give me all your money.
I beg your pardon.
Give me all your money or I'll hurt you.
My dear, you're not going to rob me. You're going to fuck me.
This man who's fallen through the skylight puts out his hand and allows Bacon to lead him from the studio towards the bedroom. This man's name is George Dyer.
Thank you. Thank you. I've got my boy.
That's the end of Act 1. Before we start, we've got one more act for you, our final act. Before we begin, I'm going to explain the title of the show to you for a little bit. Are you looking at your watch? No, he's coming more than halfway. But the man that co-wrote the piece with me said you have to explain the title of the show, The Borrow Pit. So that's what I wrote. Last year I moved from Johannesburg to Cape Town, the and I took the N12 from Johannesburg to Cape Town, which is wonderful, from Kimberley to Cape Town. But we were driving along, and my father came with me because we were very close. And he pointed out an excavation on the side of the road. He said, "Do you know what that is? That's a borrow pit." He said, "Developers take soil and they use it to build roads and buildings, monuments, whatever they need." And then I said to my father, "And then what happens to the hole?" And he said, "I have no idea." So now we're going to Act 2, where things are going to be okay for a little bit. And then they're going to get a lot worse.
So, caviar. I've never had it before. Yeah, it's nice.
It is nice. I love how one consumes so many souls at once. Hundreds in one mouthful. You've really never tried it?
No. Where I come from, there ain't no caviar.
Tell me about where you come from, George Dyer.
Like what? I come from round here. Just like everyone round here. We ain't interesting.
Have you ever been with a man?
No, never done that before neither.
You're very good at being with a man.
No, well, it's mostly the same, isn't it?
George, will you stay with me tonight?
Yeah, okay. I thought you might say that. I thought I would anyway.
Lady Caroline Blackwood had never cooked before marrying Floyd. Why would she? Her family always had a cook, and the food would simply arrive in the dining room where she could choose to eat or not to eat, not sparing a thought for the feelings of the person who prepared it.
Caroline, the beans, are they salty if you do them like this?
I thought you might like to try them another way.
Thank you, my dear, but no. This way's no good. I can't actually finish them. Caroline, do you know in Judaism, if a wife oversalts the food, it's reasonable grounds for divorce?
Why are you saying this, Lucian?
Lady Caroline might have thought back to that family dining room now, as she sits facing the wall, with her husband belittling her in their kitchen. Caroline tries to escape by thinking of something else, but she cannot think back and concoct a narrative of where she was before this moment. George Dyer is sitting in his underpants in Bacon's studio. It's not the first time he's sat for Bacon. Since they met, Bacon has painted George almost exclusively. Now he's Bacon's muse. If George drinks enough, he's a patient and accommodating muse, a good muse. If Bacon correctly administers the right amount of stupefactive.
What do you think, Nanny? I think it's quite moving, this one.
Oh, Exie, that one is lovely.
Can I come round?
George, you're lucky I'm so kind with you. Yes, come around.
Oh, it's horrible. I look like an angry dog.
That's a marvelous idea. I'll add a dog.
I look like a baboon.
Oh, you are a baboon, pet. You're my horrible baboon.
Oh, fuck off, Francis.
Oh, is my baboon hungry? Does he want to go to Viviers? Yes, my baboon is hungry and grumpy. Nanny, get our coats. We're going to Viviers.
Oh, no, it's far too early. I think we should probably wait.
No, I don't want to wait. Besides, I want to do a bit of shopping before dinner. My baboon is very beautiful, and I want to buy him a suit. You would like that, wouldn't you?
Of course I want a fucking suit.
Eggsy, I'll clean up here, but I don't like you boys going out so early. You will look after yourself, won't you?
Yes.
What does she think is going to happen to us? Telling us to be careful. We're grown men, ain't we? No offense, Francis, but what's the old bird gonna do? Mumble someone to death?
She's not worried about trouble, George. She worries about me, that's all. She worries about me and the sun.
You're not a fucking baby, Francis.
I am fragile, George.
Yeah, well, you got me now.
I do. I do. Lovely, my New York, so utterly unaware he's beating with life. He could snap my neck like a twig.
Do you think he will?
Oh, can you imagine how wonderful that would be? No, he's not vicious with me. He's vicious with himself.
How do you mean?
Well, in Athens just last month, he swallowed a bunch of pills. He was behaving like a goddamn lunatic. Didn't I tell you, dude? Well, I told the doctor who was Greek and didn't understand a fucking word to let the fool finish himself off. He was fine in the end. He's got the constitution of an ox. I'm glad. Just look at him. My Caroline. Would you like to paint him, dude? I'd let you if you asked me nicely.
I don't mean any harm, but I see nothing in him. For me at least.
Francis tells me you were in Athens, George. How wonderful. I haven't been in a long time. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah. It's okay. We took the train. I had some trouble there, so yeah, we came home early.
Oh dear. Everything's all right now.
Yeah, fine. But I don't know about Francis. I mean, before these painter fellas make you go mad, they take and they push, they make you think you're mad. Do you know what I mean?
I don't know.
They're like vampires or something.
He's drunk. He's talking nonsense.
How are you sedating him, Francis?
Well, he came to be a full-blown alcoholic. I could have kept him permanently drunk. He wouldn't mind. But when Nanny and I went to Tangier, we grew fond of majoons. Do you know what those are? Sweets. Coconut balls, dates, and hashish. I find that majoons mellow him out quite nicely. With drink, you always run the risk of him flying off the handle. Oh, look! Nanny brought some majoons.
This is a painting of Henrietta, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I haven't seen her in a long time.
Oh, she's a wreck. Last time we saw her, I'd be surprised if she ain't dead by now.
This is a photograph of Nina.
Yeah, she's dead now.
Really? This is John. He's also
Dead. Is it normal to know so many people were dead?
Lucian. I'm tired and I'd like to go home now.
Have a majoon. Francis brought the recipe back from Tangier. They're lovely.
No, I want to go home.
We'll go in a little while. I'm having a fine time, and it's a pleasure to finally be spending time with you, George. Caroline, eat one.
I don't want one.
Eat it, or I will hurt you. Do you hear?
how quickly they fall under. Shall we?
At all, it's lovely.
It's really the best I've found. Cheers. Cheers.
Oh, if you boys want to go out, I can look after these two for a little while.
Oh, would you, man?
Francis.
Oh, don't worry about it. I do it all the time. George is usually out for an hour or two, and with Caroline as thin as she is, you have at least until daybreak. Now, do you want to go to the London Club or the tables? There's some money in the door if you like.
Francis, are you sure it's all right?
Yes, of course, darling. Now, they're not to worry.
These two, there'll be no trouble at all, little lambs. You boys go out and have a good time. Off you go.
To make a human into a muse, a vampire painter paints from the muse or engages in similarly artistic interactions with them whilst drinking a single dose of their blood. The muse must be sedated so that they do not notice that the vampire artist is sucking from them. Trusted methods of sedation include turpentine and liquor. The more often a muse is used by a vampire painter, the more likely the negative effects of muse fame. These side effects include, but are not limited to, a high propensity for addiction, alcoholism, memory loss, mood swings, lack of ambition, recklessness, confusion, depression, and suicidal tendencies. Even with sedation, it has been known for muses to grow wise to the negative effects of repeated sucking. It's therefore recommended to not keep a muse for too long, either suck them to the point of death, or let the side effects of muse fame bring about a natural demise.
As Francis predicted, the Majoons kept Caroline sedated until dawn. She woke up to find George and Nanny in high spirits, dancing around the studio.
There we go, darling. Round and round the mulberry bush.
Caroline thought to herself, she must have drunk more at this party than usual. Weren't there more people here before? Where was Lucien? She thinks perhaps they had an argument and he stormed out. Caroline's finding everything very confusing. Her head is aching. She asks Nanny, is there an analgesic in the house? And Nanny says, yes, there's probably something in the kitchen. Caroline walks down the darkened corridor. She looks up, and on the wall she finds a painting of herself. Girl in bed. It was the painting Lucien was busy with the day Picasso came to visit. Golden light runs under Caroline's skin, her hair is thick, her eyes glow with comprehension. Am I really so lovely, she thinks? And then Caroline realizes what has happened to her. George! George! They're not like vampires! They are vampires! And look at me! George! Nanny! They're going to kill us, like Henrietta, like Nina. We have to run! George!
You're worrying yourself sick, child. Come over here.
No! Get away from me, old woman!
Now, there's no need to be like that. Come here.
No! No! Get away from me! No! I didn't! I wouldn't. It wasn't me.
Lady Caroline, I'm going to speak slow. You listen to me, okay? I've killed someone before and it ain't good. We're going to act fast and smart. Do you hear me? Lady Caroline, I'm going to deal with Nanny. Yes, don't worry. Listen a minute. You're going to get your coat and walk out the door like nothing has happened. You're going to get on a train And never come back to London, do you hear me? Take whatever you can without losing you and don't ever come back. That's what you want, isn't it?
Yes.
Go.
Why are you helping me? I don't even like you.
No one does. Don't worry about me, darling. Get yourself gone. Go. Shoot! And now, Nanny, what am I supposed to do with you?
Francis and Lucian are looking forward to a salubrious evening as they arrive at the door of the London chapter of their club. The club they joined all those years ago, the Vampire Club.
Have you ever removed a vampire from the club?
Yes, Bangor, I carajo. Poor fool, he started to eat himself. It was very embarrassing. Yes. Vincent, he was enormous trouble to us. In and out of asylum, so we booted him, which does happen every now and again.
Yes, why would that happen?
Well, it happens if a vampire seriously contravenes the rules, makes themselves known to another vampire. You see, Vincent, he was a lunatic. We didn't know what he was going to say and to whom. So we kicked him out and he went back to being a normal human being with all that failure and public disinterest that being a normal human being entails.
But he is very famous.
Yes, but not in his lifetime. Vampires are guaranteed fame and fortune in their lifetime, as well as in the great beyond. Herr Baker, your crone, did you elect well?
Yes, she's watching our muses now, as you have it. I really would trust her with my life.
Very good. We underestimate the importance of the crone. Ah, the crone. The crone is just secret keeping. Any old lady. Mr. Freud forgets what he gets from their muses, all those hysterics. Muses are only technically a partial intake, Pablo. We could live without them. Your grandfather, he liked to think about the crones because he liked to think about fucking his mother always. But it is the muses. What we take from them, that is what makes our work shine.
But you don't always paint women. When you paint a still life.
Cubism is no victimless, senor. Cubism disguises itself. But they work where the muse sits inside the painting. They contract, make him laugh, take him. We don't borrow, we take. And they go down. They like to be in the paintings. Muse fame, they speak for them. But the price is always there. They always go down.
Which is why we must never love them.
Exactly. You're a cameraman, Senor Freud. A muse is a lover, but we do not love them. Although yours was very hard not to laugh.
It's a shame I went a little fast with her. She's almost done, in fact. But I have another in mind. Someone quite different.
Very good. Onward and upward, Senor Freud.
And women?
What about women?
Can women be vampires?
We've heard rumors of female sects, but really there's just so little evidence of them.
I imagine someone like Emily Dickinson could have been a vampire.
But my dear boy, have you ever actually read any Emily Dickinson?
No. Should I? Christ, Nanny, I'm steaming. Nanny, we went to go play the tables, and I did okay. I won a bit, but Lucien, he won a fortune. I've never seen anything like it. Nanny, wake up, Nanny. Wine do we have? Get me some. Nanny. Nanny.
Francis, it's getting light. We should go inside.
Okay, Francis, listen to George. George, take him home.
Come. No use hurting yourself. She wouldn't want that, would she? Come, Eggsy. I'll hold you. Lou, you coming?
Thank you, no. I might stay to draw these snapdragons. Caroline likes snapdragons. Only because of the name. Snap. Right. I'm sure you'll agree, Francis, that the situation is now very delicate, now that George knows. It's extremely serious.
George is a fool, Lou. I don't know what he knows, probably nothing. I wake up and he's there. I go to sleep and he's there, just looking at me. I think I hate him. He doesn't know how much he doesn't know, and I hate him.
For Christ's sake, you're making me see. Francis, do you understand that they could have us removed from the club for this? If we don't fix this, we could be out.
But Lou,
I'm trying to help you, so shut up, please, now. You can't turn him out into the street. Could you murder him?
Lou, I couldn't.
No, I thought you would. Then this is what is going to happen. Yeah.
What's this?
It's the address of a psychiatric unit in Geneva.
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
I know you're not mad, Francis, but you need time to convalesce. You've suffered a terrible shock. Well, breathe easy for a month. In the meantime, I'll ask my crone to look after George. She's with me at the moment.
But you hate him.
Yes, I do, but I'm painting her now. It's very interesting. The point is, until you get back, there will be someone to look after George.
I'm sorry, Lou. You will find a new muse. You won't have to paint your mother forever.
I have no doubt about that.
You're right. I'll go. Thank you.
And don't worry about George. Everything's going to be just fine.
We went to Monte Carlo. She loved Monte Carlo. She was like a mother to me. She was my mother.
dear boy. He must be freezing. How clever of you to have come to me.
Francis just left. I don't know where he is.
He's gone to get some help, George. He'll be very different when he comes back. Are you warm enough? I'm afraid there's no drink in the house. I'd like to paint you, George. Would that be all right? We are all alone. Francis insists on making me so ugly. In the end, it's because he can't paint. Let me show you how you really are.
He turns me into an animal.
But you're not an animal.
I'm a man.
Yes. You are a man, George Darwin.
If you paint me, will you drug me?
Would you want that?
No.
Then this is going to be very special.
Honey, I'm home. I'm home. How are you, pet? I'm doing better. I think I'll hate you less now that I've had time to grieve. I'm sorry, George. Now, Georgie, where's my kiss?
Do you like it? It's different to yours, I know. I think it's good.
You think? You think? When did this happen?
Oh, just now while you were in Geneva. Lucy was real nice. Well, I mean, what happened in Geneva? You do an analysis, Exie. What is that? Are you mental, Francis?
Stupid boy. Do you have any idea what this means? What were you even doing with him? Why would you even go to him?
You fucked off and I was all alone. I didn't know when you would come back.
So you let him do this to you?
And he didn't drug me either. I asked, I said, leave me, wait for it, and he did.
Are you insane?
I know what you are. I know how it works. You take my blood and it ends up in the taking somehow.
He doesn't believe.
He was the same, Francis. He was
I'm going to kill you, George Dyer.
Do you want me to hurt you, Francis?
Yes! Do you want me to hurt you?
Madrid. Why you look for me in Paris? Paris. Paris. It eats people alive. George is eating something. It's making him sick. It's time to bring him out. You have such a tiny studio. How do you paint without light, senor?
George! George!
I'll go back to sleep.
I need to paint you. Now.
Now, in the middle of the night.
How much did he take from you?
Oh, Lucy. I don't know, a lot.
Come with me to Paris.
To
the opening. I know I said I didn't, but I want you to be there with me. Come with me to Paris. It's important.
Yeah, okay, Lucy. Fine.
No more sleeping. Get up. Get up.
Martin! No, you can't have those two side by side. No, you put the pink one over there. Put the pink one over... Francis...
Martin! Move the pink one over there! Oui, Saint-Lucie! Now you see, the triptych looks much more alluring now.
Yes. Hey, George, you lucky boy. This hall full of paintings of yourself by the best painter in the world. George. Martin, bring this man a chair.
George, Valerie's talking to you.
Oh, I said, darling.
Maybe the flight didn't agree with you, George. Do you want a coffee? Do you want a drink?
Oh, double well.
No, I think you need to go back to the hotel, darling. And I'll be right along, all right? Just a few more things to attend to.
Okay.
And I'll be right along.
Okay, let's see.
He's fine. He's in one of his moods again.
It's a triumph, Francis.
It is.
This is where you belong.
Once he had made absolutely sure everything in the gallery was perfect, Francis found George back at their hotel. When Francis arrived at the door of the room, he could hear a commotion as if there were 50 people inside. But it was only George. George was alone.
George?
Francis. I'm sorry, Francis. I've been drinking.
Yes, I can see that. Are you...
Am I?
Are you nearly finished?
Kelsey, can I ask you something? The gallery smeared all over the place. The gallery, bits of me falling over and coming on in the gallery. It's all there, isn't it? But what I want to know is, when you knew that is what you were doing with me, was it just from the beginning, or with the analysis? Just for the work, you Francis. I could do now, isn't it?
You can make it quick, George.
If there's vultures circling me, they're circling you too, Francis.
He's dead.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Well, let's keep it to ourselves then.
Francis, we have to phone the police.
The biggest exhibition of our lives. Ruined. Because this man, this poor fool, decided to do himself in.
I suppose we could just leave him then. Just for a few hours?
We could. We must. Phone Lucian. Yes, phone Lucian. He'll know exactly what to do with
Lucian
this. Phone
Frost?
Lucian.
Why on earth
He'll be able to.
Lucian?
Just phone him! Valerie! Alright! Alright. Now, the light is burning me. I need to get dressed. I have to go.
Bacon left the body of George Dyer in their hotel room as he went and opened the most prestigious exhibition of his life at the Grand Palais. 6 years later, Bacon would show again in Paris, and the gallery would be so clogged with adoring fans that police blockaded the street. He was at his peak. Now, Francis moves through the hall at the Grand Palais with the French Minister for the Arts. George Dyer crouching. George Dyer talking. George Dyer riding a bicycle. George Dyer with a dog. George Dyer staring at a blind cord.
Dip your chin slightly. That's good. Like this? Yeah. Don't fold the fingers of your right hand. Spread them. Out, but not apart. That's good. Come here. No, now, come here. Fold back the blanket. Open your legs. Dip your chin. Yes. Don't fold the fingers of your right hand. Don't fold them. Spread them. Come here. No, now, come here. Now. Fold. Spread. Dip. Don't fold the fingers of your right hand. Don't. Spread. Fold. Dip slightly. Dip. Spread. Fold. Fold. Don't fold the fingers of your right hand. Dip.
Open your left.